exclusive reporting on the Senate Intelligence Committee, their investigation into Russian election interference and what they have and have not uncovered. NBC's Ken Delanian has just jumped in front of a camera to join me with his new reporting. So, Ken, what are you hearing? What are you learning?
Hallie, after 2 years and interviewing more than 200 witnesses, the Senate Intelligence Committee has not uncovered any direct evidence of a conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russia. That's according to sources on both the Republican and the Democratic side of the aisle, Hallie.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really? So now that it's official that there was no Russian collusion, you would think, okay, we could finally move on. But nope. Here's Adam Schiff laying the groundwork for another investigation. So what I'm wondering is, at what point do people start realizing something's not right with all this? I mean, I get it. People have been bombarded with 24 hours a day anti-Trump stories, but now with the MAGA hat kid, Jussie Smollett, Scott Volvo admitting on camera to bird dogging, and many, many more stories turning out to be staged events, we have to wonder, what else has been fake? Now, to answer that, the first narrative we're going to look at is one of the first big labels established during the election. Donald Trump is anti-gay. Now, we'll start with Hillary's stance on gay marriage.
I believe that marriage is not just a bond, but a sacred bond between a man and a woman.
The New York Times recently began posting the celebrations of gay unions. Not just straight people getting married, but gay people who want to announce their unions. Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay. When you
Here's Trump's stance on gay marriage.
In a wide-ranging interview on Sunday's 60 Minutes, President-elect Donald Trump turned heads when he said that he would not make any attempts to overturn marriage equality, adding that it is already settled law in this country.
Now, Trump didn't stop there. There's just this last month, February 2019, the Trump administration actually began a quest to force all countries worldwide who still have laws rendering homosexuality illegal to reverse them. I mean, if you're the gay community, that's about the biggest thing anyone's ever done for gay people. So you tell me, who was the anti-gay candidate?
Do you think New York State should recognize gay marriage?
No.
No. Okay.
Next here we have Old Faithful, the narrative that Trump is racist. Well, here's what Hillary thinks of black people.
What do you think of Cory Booker's, and you didn't comment on him, and you feel free?
Oh, I adore him.
What do you think about him saying kick them in the shins, essentially? Start to get to that kind of political...
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't.
They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
Now here is Donald Trump receiving an award from the Rainbow Coalition for furthering black people in the workplace.
I do want to express thanks to you, Donald Trump, for being with us tonight. We need your building skills, your gusto, your rent package for people on Wall Street who represent diversity. And we thank you for coming tonight. Let's give Donald Trump a big hand. A big hand for Donald Trump. In 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building with a builder of people. Last year he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Here's him receiving an Ellis Island Award alongside Rosa Parks.
Today, President Trump called on athletes who kneel during the national anthem to recommend people they think he should pardon.
I'm going to ask them to recommend to me people that were unfairly treated, friends of theirs or people that they know about, and I'm going to take a look at those applications. And if I find, and my committee finds that they're unfairly treated, then we will pardon them or at least let them out.
The president's latest pardon came on Wednesday when he commuted the sentence of Alice Johnson. The Tennessee grandmother served more than 20 years in prison for a first-time nonviolent drug offense.
What would you say if he called you?
Oh, I would tell him, thank you, President Trump, for really seeing me, not just looking at some data about my crime, but actually looking at the person who I have become now and having faith that I deserved a second chance in life. I just say thank you for this mercy.
And thank you very much, everybody. I'm grateful to be here today with members of the House and Senate who have poured their time, and they really have their heart and energy into the crucial issue of prison reform. These members have reached a bipartisan agreement. Did I hear the word bipartisan? There you go. Did I hear that word? Huh? That's a nice word. Bipartisan agreement on prison reform legislation known as the first step, and that's what it is. It's a first step, but it's a very big first step. Today, I'm thrilled to announce my support for this bipartisan bill that will make our community safer and give former inmates a second chance at life after they have served their time. So important. Thank you. In a few moments, I will sign an executive order launching a new White House opportunity. This is a very big thing that Tim and I and everybody have been working on for a long time, and Revitalization Council. This council will coordinate efforts across the entire federal government to deliver jobs, investment, and growth to the communities that need it the most. With the creation of today's council, the resources of the whole federal government will be leveraged to rebuild low-income and impoverished neighborhoods that have been ignored by Washington in years past.
Well, I mean, as far as doing what he promised me he'd do, he's doing it.
What was that?
You know, I'm working with HUD.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some housing for underprivileged people. We're gonna set up some centers around the country. I've met with HUD. It's going really well.
When this program, the policy that Secretary Costa initiated along with my company, is implemented along with the big financial record keepers, the Fidelities, the Vanguards, this program will put close to $800 billion back in the retirement pockets of minority Americans. So I just want to applaud you for that.
Thank you very much, Bob. Under my administration, we are fighting every day for all Americans. African Americans and Hispanic American poverty rates have reached their lowest levels ever recorded in the history of our country. African American and Hispanic American unemployment have recently achieved the lowest rates ever recorded. African American youth unemployment has reached the lowest rate ever recorded. That's pretty good, Bob, isn't it? What? Pretty good. Last year alone, we lifted 1 million Americans out of poverty, which is a record.
President Trump is not a racist. I've been with the president recently quite a bit, and when he signed the legislation making the historic site, Martin Luther King site in Atlanta, Georgia, a national park, it was introduced by Congressman John Lewis, and that, believe it or not, that's one thing the two of them did together. It took two to do it, and I'm so glad the president has done it. But what is so outrageous to call a man a racist who continues to acknowledge the significant work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my uncle, in a positive way. And he puts his money where his mouth is. He puts his energy behind it.
So now again, I'll ask, you tell me who was the racist candidate?
They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel.
Which brings us to the biggest of all the false narratives. For 3 years now, Democrats have been attacking Trump over his desire to secure our borders. Well, here's how they felt before Donald Trump came on the scene.
In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
I voted numerous times when I was a senator to spend money to build a barrier to try to prevent illegal immigrants from coming in. We have to send a clear message. Just because your child gets across the border, that doesn't mean the child gets to stay.
Illegal immigration is wrong, plain and simple. Until the American people are convinced that we will stop future flows of illegal immigration, we will make no progress on dealing with the millions of illegal immigrants who are here now and on rationalizing our system of legal immigration. It's plain and simple and unavoidable. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration, which the American people overwhelmingly oppose. If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong, and we have to change it.
Okay, so are they really against securing our borders, or are they just against Trump? At what point are people going to realize that nothing they've been told about Trump is true? And then at what point do they begin to wonder, why is nothing we've been told about Trump true? What on earth are they hiding that's so big all of the media is on board, all of Hollywood is on board, 90% of Washington is on board, all the radio stations, magazines, TV? What on earth could constitute the biggest slandering in known history? Maybe it might have something to do with the fact that he is currently on 8chan right now, waking up the world. And then perhaps someday people will understand that they had a plan to conduct another mass extinction event, and that World War I and II were orchestrated and planned by select families. And now I want you to ask yourself an honest question. Why would a billionaire who has it all, fame, fortune, a warm and loving family, friends, etc., the whole nine, want to endanger himself and his family by becoming president of the United States? Why would he want to target himself and those he cares about? Does he need money? No. Does he need fame? Definitely not. What does he get out of this? Does he want to make the United States and world a better place for his family and for those good and decent people who have long been taken advantage? Or perhaps he couldn't stomach the thought of mass murders occurring to satisfy Moloch. Perhaps he couldn't stomach the thought of children being kidnapped, drugged, and raped while leaders and law enforcement of the world turned a blind eye. Perhaps he was tired of seeing how certain races, countries were constantly being abused and kept in need of poor and suffering, all for a specific purpose. Perhaps he could not in good conscience see the world burn. Why didn't Hillary give a concession speech? When's the last time a presidential candidate didn't personally give a concession speech? What happens if the border remained open and the mainstream media continued to brainwash? They traffic children over the border for adrenochrome, organ harvesting, and satanic rituals. It's gone on since the beginning of time, and it's time for it to end.
Almost from the time I announced I was going to run, they've been giving us this investigation fatigue. It's been a long time. They got nothing, zero. You know why? Because there is nothing. But they can play that game, but we can play it better. Because we have a thing called the United States Senate. And a lot of very questionable things were done, between leaks of classified information and many other elements that should not have taken place.
If they start investigating you, that you can play that game and investigate
better
them.
than them.
Can you compartmentalize
and I
that?
think I know more than they know.
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
Are you saying that they're pedophiles?
Yes.
And that they're still in this business?
Yes.
That's what, and that's what you were saying in your book. When you talk to, when you talk to
And they don't
parents,
want me here right now. Trust
Corey,
me. They want me dead.
there are a lot of parents out here who want to put their kids in this business. Their kids are cute, they're great actors. Da, da, da. What would you say to a parent who just has the best of intentions, who's coming here with their child? If you're saying that there's a lot of predators in this industry.
It's a many-feathered bird. Okay? Be careful what you wish for. That's what I'll tell you. You know, don't go into it with naivety. Don't go into it thinking that it's all roses and
You're
sunglasses
damaging
and
an entire industry.
I'm sorry, I'm
clear
not
up.
trying
You said
to.
that-
I'm just trying to say that it's a very important, serious topic.